Hi, I'm Rigger. This is You Are Right, and the channel has been blank for like 3 months. I'm very sorry about that. But in further news, teaser images for Volume 9 have dropped, and it feels like news is pretty much imminent on Volume 9, a teaser, an announcement, something. So in light of that, I wanted to make a very quick video just to sort of wake this channel up again and prepare for that. Not to mention there's a good chance that anything I figure out with these images is going to be outdated by the time even the video comes out, because there could be a trailer dropping any moment. Or not, who knows, it's impossible to tell. But I thought I might as well just do this anyway for a quick little video. So, check it out. If you've been on Twitter, you've seen that each of the voice actors for the main RWBY team have dropped an image from Volume 9 corresponding with their character. But let's be real, only one of them is really worth talking about. The others are Yang and Blake, each standing in cloudy backdrops. Yang's we've basically already seen just in the Volume 9 teaser with a different expression. There's Weiss, and I think people say it looks like Salem's Lair because purple and night sky, but it's not. It's somewhere in Wonderland, surely. And despite the color scheme, that purple curved up like that looks more like a flower petal, maybe a curtain, but I'm thinking a big flower petal. So she's standing under a big flower, and looking at the landscape and the things we've had, that doesn't seem ridiculous at all, to some big flower somewhere. Unless it is a structure, but either way, it's somewhere, and she has a scared look on her face, but that could happen for a million reasons, so we can only speculate. But the one worth talking about is, of course, RWBY's one. So, let's take a closer look. Obviously, the first thing everyone is drawn to, and is quite amusing and fun, is yes, there is the tiny team. Very cute. So the options are twofold there, either something happened that made them small, or something happened that made RWBY big. Take your pick. It's very in line with Wonderland. That's literally one of the first things that happens with Alice. She gets big, she gets small, you know. So take your pick. Logic says something is more likely to happen to one person than to three, but it could have happened to those three while they were on their own, and then they meet RWBY later, and she hasn't done the thing. So maybe RWBY got big, maybe they got small, can't tell. The only thing we can say is that the place RWBY is in is scaled to her size. But whether that's because she has scaled up and the person who lives there has scaled up, we can't tell, so just, again, speculate. The same for scaling down, it could have been for any number of reasons. Maybe they also met some mice and they scaled down to their level and went to their village that scaled for them, who knows. But what is far more interesting is the room, so let's talk about the room. So this room can tell us a lot. First off, who owns it? Okay, so we don't actually know. But the only other quote-unquote person we've seen is Purple Guy, so obviously he's key suspect, right? But I don't think it's him. Evidence is this. Look where he is. It's like an open hut, open air sort of thing. It has warm colors, and this is stonework, I think. Unless it's meant to be woodwork, but the thickness here maybe makes me think it's stonework. And that pattern would match where RWBY is in this shot with the floor, so that's probably the person who found Penny's sword. And also, we have this shot, which matches as well. And maybe this shot where she's looking from the chest, because perhaps that wall is the same. It actually looks wooden there, but who knows? Perhaps half of it is wood, half of it is not. This, however, where we are now, is totally different. First off, smooth stone. Down here, it's definitely looks like stonework, and it's smooth as can be. Totally different design. Now, perhaps they're throwing us for a loop. Maybe it does belong to Purple Guy, but it's like a different level or a different place that he also owns. But, you know, we can't say any more than we have with the images, so we have to speculate. Now, obviously, I'm making some assumptions, but here's what I deduce from looking at this. I really think, whoever owns this place is not from Wonderland. You might think that's not a big stretch, but maybe it is for some people. But that's for a few reasons. First off, we've seen Little say that he has never seen a human like RWBY before in Wonderland. So far, all of the full residents we've actually seen in Wonderland have been animals, except for this guy with whatever he is, and these flashes of other people. But because they're in flashes, we can't tell much about them. Other things we can tell is whoever lives here obviously is RWBY's size, whatever size she may be, if she's bigger or not, but it's scaled up for someone around her size. And likely a humanoid being. This isn't some cat's den or something. It could be a mouse if the mouse is very, very big, but it's clearly set up for someone who stands upright and has opposable thumbs to use this equipment. Again, these things sound obvious, but we're in Wonderland, we have to think about it. So, a human-like figure. Again, ruling out mice or something like that. We have evidence for a few, which are these, again, and we can't tell which ones of these are visions or not. These could be in stories, these could be projections, prophecies, it could be anything. And I'd also like to add that Purple Guy is on this list not only because he is humanoid, he has arms and stands upright, but since we talked about this last time, I've really been considering that perhaps this is actually a human being. That this is not some weird, creature or something related to the gods, that this might be a man in a mask. and covered in paint, you know, very tribal. His face doesn't move, it looks like it might be solid, so he could be wearing something's head that he's killed, like a skull or a helmet, or he could have built this whole mask with horns himself, maybe in praise of the god of darkness, who knows. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't rule out this guy actually being a person, maybe. So if we rule out that it's one of the girls, Jean or Neo, which sounds silly to rule out because they're clearly all there, but you never know, especially Jean or Neo, which again, we can't totally rule out because let's say some crazy time thing happened and Jean or Neo landed, you know, years before RWBY and the others for some magic reason, and they've been living here on their own for ages waiting for them to show up. You can't say that didn't happen, but just to go through this, we're going to have to assume it's not. But hey, keep it in the back of your mind, maybe Jean has been here for years and he went crazy and that's why he looks like this in this vision. He's gone insane on his own here, on his, you know, stricken with grief over Penny and left alone on the island to rot for years. It could happen. But if we go along with inferring that's unlikely, we move on to the other candidates. So let's go over what else we can infer from some of this. First off, we have some food, some vegetables or something there, and 3 big sacks. Obviously, it's an assumption, but I think there's more food in those sacks. I mean, who knows? But it's, you know, not an unreasonable way to store food if you're going to move it around. And it's not something you would put something in that you really wanted to take care of that was, like, breakable. It could be things like piles of grain, it could be stacks of fruit, it could be anything, right? We can tell from the rest of this setup that this person has clearly been here for a while, enough to have whatever all this is set up. And we don't know the climate. There is every chance that there are awful seasons here where no food grows, so they're stockpiling for, you know, the winter or the stormy season or whatever. Everything we've seen, though, would suggest that's not the case. That food's pretty abundant and whatever. But stockpiling is fine, maybe they just don't want to go get food all the time, so they've stockpiled it here. But given that it's next to this other equipment by a desk, and we'll get into the other equipment soon, and it's not, like, hung up, and it's not stored in a box or something, it doesn't look like they're afraid of it being stolen. I have a different idea, so we'll go a little deeper. Obviously, the main thing that draws your eye is the glowy orb. The mysterious glowy orb. It's a globe. It's not a glowy orb, it's clearly a globe. You can see the brace around it. It even has longitude and latitude lines. It is a globe. Why is it glowing? I don't know. They put something glowy in it to study it. Who knows? But it is clearly set up like a globe, it is set up to spin like a globe, it's on a brace like a globe, it has the markings of a globe, it's a globe. The only thing that makes it look really weird is it's all blue. But this is important, because the simple deduction tells us it's one of 2 things. This is a globe, presumably of where we are, because why would we have a globe of somewhere else? And it's either incomplete, or it is complete. And one is more likely than the other with what I'm seeing. That if this is a purgatory-like little realm that they've been taken to, it's not a fully fleshed out planet, that this globe is complete. And if you were to spin it on the backside of this blue globe, you would just see the island that they're on. And that if you were to sail long enough around, you would come back to where you started, like on any globe. But then that trip would be a lot shorter. It wouldn't be months around, it would be something manageable, because there's just one island. And the reason I think that is I think this is the person who has made that trip. That's what they're doing. That's why you have a stockpile of food ready to go, a globe mapping your findings, you have books at the back here to keep track of things, that this person, this all reeks of someone trying to figure out where they are and figure out the world that they're in. They've tried. They've tried and they've tried, and there is no other land. This is the map. It's just their island, and they've wound up back here repeatedly. It's a relatively small island, a relatively small globe, and the rest of this equipment says more of the same. Having food in a sack like this is a good way to take it if you made a small boat of some description to take it with you. It's someone trying to logic out their existence, and that speaks to someone who probably wasn't raised here. Look, that is a separatory funnel, used in chemistry to separate liquids, I believe it is anyway, or for whatever other purpose you might need that for. Or just general chemistry stuff to suggest someone researching, right? And in the back is an hourglass to measure presumably how either time works here, or whatever chemical reactions, how long they take here, or whatever else you need to time. There are in fact 2 hourglasses, there's a second one behind the globe. And at the back again, 3 books. Research notes, diaries, maps, whatever else it might be. This is a person trying to understand what they are because they're not from here. Map it, make sense of it. That would be a person presumably not raised and not accustomed to the ways here and instead is questioning things and trying to figure them out. Not someone indoctrinated by its teachings like Little, say, who doesn't question where food comes from, doesn't question the shape of the world, doesn't question any of those things, doesn't question time, because they were raised here, they live here, they're part of here, they know those things. Or they don't care. The only other option is that it's one of the residents, say perhaps one of the people, or purple guy, or whatever, who has grown tired of living here, and is trying to figure out a way to escape. Is there more to the world than what I've seen? Someone who's grown tired of living their whole existence here, and yearns for more, and explores. We did that, humans did that. That would make sense. But given the stories of the girl who fell through the world, etc., and teasers like this, my bet is that the person we meet here will be someone from Remnant who has fallen here probably long ago, quite a while, and has been here all that time, and is here to tell the girls it's hopeless. A downer. They're, first roadblock. They run into a person who says, I've tried. There is no way out. I've been here for years. I've sailed every direction. I've mapped it all out. There's nothing to find. And, that's a big downer and that's a big story thread. Or, the other option is that there is no person here at all. That they arrive on this lab or in this place and it's empty and they find the person's notes and maybe they're trying to find who this is. Maybe this person has died and they only have to work from their notes. More likely, if it's that scenario, it's someone who's gone missing. So we have to go find where they are, maybe it's in their notes, that kind of thing. But either way, this really looks like someone who is studying Wonderland in a scientific way, not in a fantastical way, trying to logic it out, which is what someone with Remnant would do in this crazy Wonderland with talking cats and mice and cheese that comes out of the ground. Makes sense to me, and makes sense narratively. So the major candidates are people who've been here before, which leads me to believe it's Girl Who Fell Through the World, which probably means it's this person. But, again, runner-ups are this person, and maybe this person, but that's just Jean, let's be real. And it's some vision or something. And, this person, and this person, if they're a person, or if they want to leave. But maybe this person loves the God of Darkness and wants to go meet the Grimm and wants to get out of here. But I don't think so. My real guess is it's the person who fell through the world. This is them trying to find their way back, and they couldn't. Because that's sort of the legend, but in the legend, she returns home. Or maybe she has returned home, and this is what is left behind. That is also an option. But, yeah, whoever is down here before them, this is their setup, because this is how a person approaches a new place. Somewhere they have to figure out. That seems pretty obvious, but I thought it was worth making a video about just real quick. Little warm-up for me, a little refresher, and to hopefully get everyone on board for Volume 9, which could be coming any time soon, at least info on it. But yeah, until then, did you see something I didn't? Do you interpret something differently than I do? Do you disagree? Do you agree? What are your thoughts on Volume 9? Let me know, and hopefully we'll have more Volume 9 stuff coming soon. And my name is Rigger, and I hope you have a wonderful day. It's very nice to be making a video for you again, and I hope I did alright.